This is going to be a quick video of me answering questions from the internet. As you know, most of my content comes from you. So if you have a question, let me know in the comments and I'll either answer you there or create a new video just like this one. So subscribe to see your questions get answered, and let's jump right into it. Here's a question from Reddit on business analysis. The title of this post is Condescending Business Owner. So I've been at this current role for about 4 months. There's a business owner in particular that has not been engaged over the last 3 months that I've worked on this project, who's now decided to attend some of the meetings. When he does this, he says things like, "I think you all are overcomplicating this," and other condescending comments. This is a very complex migration and affects the entire company. He is not up to speed enough to even make this assumption. He only says it to myself and my project manager, both female, and does not talk like that to the rest of the team. How would you handle this? Good question. So the way I would approach this is thinking about it from the context of a communicator and a teacher, right? Your goal as a business analyst is to help people understand things. You're clarifying complexity. You're helping people understand things in the way they need to understand it, right? And so if this business owner is not fully engaged and is not going to read a big old giant print of a business requirements document or whatever it may be, you need to figure out what kind of documentation you can create to help this person understand how complex this really is and what things could break along the way. Oftentimes for me, if I'm concerned that a stakeholder won't pay attention, I think about specifically the things in their space that they would be very concerned about if they go wrong, and then use that as kind of a starting point to say, okay, these are all the things that might break if we don't do this correctly. This is the thing you're responsible for, another thing you're responsible for, this thing tied to your income or your compensation or your commissions, whatever it may be, the department they're in charge of, maybe some metric that they're measured on. Focusing in on what it is that's important to them. This obviously requires having some conversations with them, understanding what's important to them, what things really impact their day-to-day, and things like that. So that's where I would start. Beyond that, being a little bit more generic, your job as a business analyst is always to kind of create all those different levels of understanding, right? From the highest level of, this is what the project is, this is what it's going to impact, these are all the things that it touches, to the specific of, this specific interface is going to have these data points. This is how the information is going to be sent over at these intervals, or it's going to be instantaneous, or whatever it is, that minute level of detail, right? So as you're kind of going down that chain of detail, there's a level probably somewhere in there that would resonate with this person probably a little bit better than maybe you've shared so far. So I would start with that. Like, what can you create? What kind of model, what kind of visual to show this person exactly what they need to see and what they need to understand the complexity of it. And then also point out the parts of it that'll be very important for them if they are done incorrectly. In addition to that, if this is just one of many high-level business owners, one way you can go about it, especially if they're kind of in charge in a way, or they're able to dictate the way you move, and you're concerned that's going to impact other departments, is to communicate it out to other departments, right? And so if they're saying, hey, just skip all of this, whatever, let's just go, document that, document what will go wrong if that is skipped or what could potentially go wrong, and then communicate it to those stakeholders in those pipelines and let them kind of trickle it up, and then it'll come back across to that business owner when they say, hey, we got this documentation that you're going to change this, but you're not going to look into that, and that's going to impact my people like this. Have you looked at this? Have you looked at that? When they hear it from their peers, they're going to be much more likely to pay attention if you can't get it from the ground up in your own position. But as a business analyst, you should, practice both. Like, there's every stakeholder is different. You're going to have to use different strategies. In my mind, I always kind of treat it like a game a little bit, like, okay, this is another difficult stakeholder. They have these biases, these blocks. How am I going to get around it to get them to move in the way that I want them to move? I hope that was helpful. Again, these videos are based off of your comments. So if you have any additional questions, let me know in the comments and I'll either answer you there or create a new video like this one. So as always, subscribe to see your questions get answered, and thanks for watching.